Good morning. I think we come to the third week, chapter 3. And this week we are talking about, I put the subject as from desperation to hope. And I want to repeat verse 9 using the NIV. I am your servant, Ruth, she said. Spread the corner of your garment over me, since you are a kinsman, redeemer. Let me start with the beginning of chapter 2. Last week, verse 12b. Boaz said his prayer for Ruth at their first meeting in the harvest field. May you be richly rewarded by the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge. This prayer of blessing is often our common prayer, assuming that God's people are under Yahweh's gaze and protection. They have the blessing and promise from God that He will walk with them throughout their life journey. I believe the young Naomi shares the same conviction. But the old Naomi has great difficulty holding on to this belief. When she was experiencing famine, displacement, widowhood, childlessness, and marginalization. Before her two Moabite daughter-in-law, Ruth and Obed, Naomi burst out in great pain. In chapter 1, verse 13b, No, daughters, it is more bitter for me than for you, because the Lord's hand has gone out against me. Devastated, Naomi found God emptying her of everything she ever held dear. Inside her, Naomi no longer believes God still bless her. But when Naomi heard from Ruth in chapter 3, the report about how Boaz treated her so well when she picked up the leftover grain from his field. What Naomi heard, not just Boaz's well-treatment to Ruth, but she also saw a glimpse of hope out of desperation, like a source of light from the dark tunnel where she stood. Naomi therefore said, Boaz has not stopped showing his kindness to the living and the dead. That man is our close relative. He is one of our kinsman redeemers. Chapter 2, verse 20b. Who is the living? I believe that is Naomi. Who is the dead? Her husband, Elimelech. I know many immigrants from Hong Kong saw their lives ruined when they first came to Canada. They have to go through all sorts of cross-cultural challenges, during which they were frustrated and lost in their immigrant lives. Having no Canadian experiences in their career, for example, many, like I know some of the medical doctors, teachers, or government senior officers, they have to go back to the bottom of the social ladder, or to be re-examined to get professional license in order to find a job and earn their living. I just know someone being a medical doctor here in Canada for more than 5 to 6 years now, still cannot get a job. Psychologically and in life reality as well, they need to find a way to accept a job lower in pay compared to what they had tremendously prosperity in the past. These immigrants would easily identify with Naomi and Ruth when they struggle to earn a living in Moab, as well as in Bethlehem after their return. Hence, we need to look at how God is at work in this difficult life context, showing His presence and saving Naomi and all immigrants as well out of bitterness. We look at the chapter 3, the first part, a plan strategized by Naomi. Verse 1-2. Naomi speaks to Ruth, Ruth, should I not try to find a home for you, where you will be well provided for? Is not Boaz, with those servant girls you have been, a kinsman of ours? First of all, Naomi wants to do something to make Ruth more secure in life. The old Naomi wants to see the younger Ruth settle in life. She loves Ruth. How does Naomi come up with her new plan? Yes, she has been desperate most of her life. But now, she suddenly sees a glimpse of hope. She knows that Ruth is working in a field that belonged to Boaz, and therefore says to Ruth, that man is our close relative. He is one of our kinsmen, redeemer. What is kinsman redeemer? According to the inheritance law, and we look at the book of Numbers, chapter 27, from verse 8 to 11, it reads, if a man dies and has no son, then you shall pass his inheritance on to his daughter. If he has no daughter, then you shall give his inheritance to his brothers. If he has no brothers, then you shall give his inheritance to his father's brothers. And if his father has no brothers, then you shall give his inheritance to the nearest kinsman of his clan, and he shall possess it. All of a sudden, Naomi sees a divine light in her dark tunnel. Here is someone who is the kinsman redeemer. who can take up the responsibility in the clan of Elimelech, her husband's side of the family. The long lost hope appears. The question right now is not whether she can find this person, but whether this legal kinsman redeemer would take action to redeem the inheritance. Furthermore, Naomi hopes that this person is Boaz, because that man has not stopped showing his kindness to the living and the dead. In Naomi's understanding, he is a noble man, worthy to be trusted by putting Ruth under his care. Along this thinking, Naomi then puts forward his plan. And she said, "Tonight he will be winnowing barley on the threshing floor. Wash and perfume yourself, and put on your best clothes. Then go down to the threshing floor. But don't let him know you are there until he has finished eating and drinking. When he lies down, note the place where he is lying. Then go and uncover his feet and lie down. He will tell you what to do." I want to emphasize the last words. He will tell you what to do. Winnowing is the last act in harvesting. Naomi realized that it is the last chance to approach Boaz. And after that, Boaz would be disappeared. Therefore, Naomi asked Ruth to dress up in her best, go to the threshing floor quietly without drawing Boaz's attention, and to uncover his feet and lie down. Here, modern scholars argue that Naomi's plan is a seduction plan by sending Ruth to the front line, which has a potential high risk of getting Ruth involved in sex with Boaz. Those scholars compare this case with other cases like Tamar and her father-in-law Judah, Genesis 38, or Lot's, Abraham's cousin, two daughters with their father Lot in sex, Genesis 19, 33. Therefore, the modern scholars question the ethics in Naomi's plan. However, we need to be fair for Naomi, considering what time and choices she can have. Truly, she knows she is putting Ruth into somebody's hand, which is definitely a risk, if not a high risk. Probably after having thought it over and over again, she decides to approach Boaz directly. Boaz is in fact not the nearest kinsman by order. He is only the second after somebody else. One can argue why Naomi does not ask Ruth to approach the first legal kinsman. Obviously, Naomi trusts Boaz, who will observe decency and make an appropriate decision. Therefore, Naomi tells Ruth that she needs not do anything else, except to wait for Boaz to make his decision. As Naomi says, he will tell you what to do. Ruth is not asked to deceive Boaz, just as what Tamar did to Judah or Lot's daughter got their fathers drunk. Naomi asked Ruth to take the initiative and straightforward make the request of redeeming inheritance before Boaz in private. The entire matter is to remind Boaz who is the kinsman redeemer to Elimelech. I'm sorry, I hardly to pronounce it. Naomi trusts Boaz to be pious, right-thinking, and noble. This reminds us of Abraham. Was asked to sacrifice his son Isaac, and scholars accuse him of an infanticide. But as the author of Hebrews in New Testament comments, in faith to God, Abraham reasoned that God would raise the dead, and figuratively speaking, he did receive Isaac back from death. Chapter 11, verse 9. Faith is never not taking risks. The second part of the story, Boaz's gracious act towards Ruth. Now we come to the second part. Ruth therefore follows Naomi's instruction and plan. She sleeps at Boaz's feet when he is sound asleep. In the middle of the night, Boaz wakes up and is surprised by Ruth's presence. Ruth takes this opportunity to make her proposal, asking Boaz to marry her by fulfilling the responsibility of a kinsman redeemer. Obviously, Boaz, though shocked by Ruth's proposal for marriage, is mindful of the law of the leverage. Nevertheless, his first reaction is to praise Ruth of her kindness. And he said, "The Lord bless you, my daughter. This kinsman is greater than that. This kindness is greater than that which you showed earlier." Earlier, meeting Ruth in the harvest field, Boaz has praised Ruth for her sacrificial love in caring for Naomi. Now Ruth has taken a second level of sacrifice. Boaz understands that in the law of leverage, Ruth has no obligation with respect to him. Boaz also has no obligation with respect to Ruth. Strictly speaking, Boaz only has obligation to Naomi because they belong to the same generation. But now, he knows that Ruth is substituting for Naomi by marrying a Judean. Further, this also means a younger, prettier woman taking the initiative to marry an old man, giving him hope of bearing his offspring. How do we know that? Both Naomi and Boaz use the same word in Hebrew, my daughters. meaning Ruth is far younger than both of them. This is what Boaz means in praising Ruth's kindness. Touched by Ruth's unconditional sacrificial love, Boaz assures Ruth of his help. First, Boaz declares, "I will do what you ask." He gives his words that he will do whatever Ruth requests. Yes, he will marry her. Second, in his clear mind, he knows that there is a kinsman redeemer nearer than him. Therefore, his promise of marrying Ruth needs to wait for clarification, as Boaz observed God's law strictly and loyally. However, if the so-and-so is not willing to act, as surely as the Lord lives, he said, "I will do it." Boaz gave his promises. His words of assurance to Ruth are what Naomi said earlier to Ruth. He will tell you what to do. Boaz is indeed a noble man with great sense of responsibility and commitment. The happy ending of this story is in chapter 4, is that Boaz married Ruth, who in God's providence gave birth to Obed, who is the grandfather of King David, and of course the ancestor of Jesus' family line. God has elevated Naomi's plan to his divine plan of salvation. What appears to Naomi's life in suffering turns out to be a crucial piece in the large master plan of God, with God's blessing at the end. In this case, Naomi, Ruth, and Boaz, all of them in the earthbound wheels, do not know what they are wrestling with has a far more significant divine implication. They even cannot see it all their life on earth. They can only know when they one day meet Jesus Christ. God used Naomi's suffering, Ruth's sacrificial love, Boaz's decency, and their love for one another as the pivotal role in giving birth to Israel king and the Messianic king. So in my conclusion, in Ruth chapter 3, we see how the interaction among Boaz, Naomi, and Ruth works out a beautiful picture where hope breaks through desperation and light pierces through darkness. The key to this transformation is the goodness, the self-sacrifice, and the unconditional love that they show towards one another. But throughout this human drama, God is hiding in the background. However, staying in the background does not mean that God is not doing anything. Let us take a step back and look again. Who guided the path such that Ruth came to the harvest field that belonged to Boaz? Who gave Naomi the plan for Ruth to ask Boaz for marriage? Who prompted Boaz to take up the responsibility of a kinsman redeemer? And who in the chapter 4 shower blessing upon all three of them? And clearly, It is the covenantal God. Get back to the beginning. I said the book of Ruth is relevant to the immigrant flow in Canada. From this perspective, you can take that Naomi is a returning immigrant. Ruth is a Moabite, a cross-cultural immigrant. And Boaz is a well-established local. Then you can ask yourself, who are you in this story? I say it again. Who are you in this story? A returning Canadian? A cross-cultural immigrant? Or a well-established local? Or once you are immigrant, but now you are a well-established local, or just a local-born Canadian. No matter who you are, we still need to have the rekindling of faith to God in Naomi, the self-giving love in Ruth, and the graciousness and open hand in Boaz. God shows his salvations and gives the hope of destiny through these three persons learning how to love one another in times of calamity and devastation. Spring only appears after winter. Amen.